Hey guys, I don't know how long this is going to be today. This is a podcast funded by Hannah. So thank you to Hannah for funding another podcast. Very nice of you. Very awesome. With that being said, I'm not allowed to really edit these podcasts, so it's really just to kind of play me in the background and, fuck around and find out, I guess. But today, something I want to discuss was a patented idea about replacing phone numbers with words. Shout out to iPhone. You know how iPhone hasn't come up with an invention for some time, like nothing interesting whatsoever? My question is, why do we even have to remember phone numbers anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like 506-197, but like, what is that? We should be able to type in, because we all have freaking keyboards on our phones. We should be able to type in, like, for instance, Onision, and you press enter and it calls me, And I know what you're thinking, that could totally backfire and then you get spam calls, blah, 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 blah. That's why you don't be a famous person and do that, right? You be someone who is just basic everyday Joe, and you just let people know your username or whatever. Like, instead of saying, what's your phone number? They just literally hit you up with your straight up Discord or whatever, And so we don't have to memorize, because like a lot of people don't even remember phone numbers. And that's annoying, because how do we tell people to contact people if we have an emergency when we don't even know their phone numbers and our cell phones are destroyed or whatever, lost? It's nonsense. We should all just be able to communicate through words. Phone numbers were only a thing because we didn't have a solution that was, alternative. We didn't want to have a phone that was a rotary where we have to do 24 characters instead of, 10? Anyway, just an idea. The next topic is people eating way too much, and how I stopped eating at 5 p.m. every night, and it has drastically changed my food consumption and weight. So your body, and first of all, I'm not a doctor. You shouldn't take this advice. And I know you probably noticed this isn't as angsty or angry or cursy a video as before, and that's typically what happens. I have a lot of frustration. I need to work it out. Once it's worked out, I can be a normal, functional, do these podcasts and stuff without going over the deep end. Normal human stuff. Human being has feelings, but when I have feelings, I don't Star Wars or anything. But yeah, about my diet. So I've been going on and on the Onision forums about this for some time. Eugenia Cooney has an eating disorder. I have an eating order. There's a difference. If anyone ever says, oh, you count calories or something like that, you have an eating disorder. No. You probably, most likely, have an eating order, which means you don't just throw whatever you want in your mouth. You consume things in accordance with what is logical and healthy, right? That's the whole thing. So when I say I stop eating at 5 p.m. every single day, it's because I was once upon a time 190 something pounds. And I had never realized I was 190. Like, if you look at TikToks, most of them don't exist anymore. But if you find any TikToks that I uploaded over the last few years, you'll find I had a fatter face. And part of the reason I had a fatter face was because I didn't have an eating order, so I just was out of control. It was eating disordered. Anyway, so stopping at 5 p.m. every night and not eating until 8 a.m. the next morning resulted in me losing 20 pounds. Some people described my cheeks as looking sunken in or whatever, but I still think I have a pretty fat face. Like, it's still pretty lush. Anyway, with that being said, I wanted to comment on my experience with that and how, like, on OnlyFans, for example, I can display myself without being insecure, without editing a single thing. Like, the most recent photos I posted there have been completely and utterly unedited. Because when you are actually physically healthy, you have an eating order, you don't have to compensate. You don't have to put on filters. You don't have to do all these things, because it's just straight up check me out. Now, with that being said, there's a risk of weakening your heart when you don't properly talk to a doctor or don't properly do your research. You can wind up really hurting yourself, and maybe even giving yourself a heart attack or heart failure, or your reproductive, or not reproductive, but your digestive system will mess up, stuff like that. So it's important to go through that with responsibility and accountability and logic, reason, etc. Not just wing it, right? With all that being said, your body, as far as my uneducated perspective, to me is like any other machine, right? Let's say there's two gears that are moving. They're doing this, right? Over time, there's potential rusting, potential wear, potential whatever, right? So let's say you are stopping eating at 6 p.m. every night, whereas normally you would have eaten and had a stomach full of food throughout the night when you're at your most lazy, right? You're not doing anything. You're just sleeping. So your food isn't being probably used as efficiently as it would be if you were active and moving around. I want you to think about how your stomach and your digestive system, that is just like those gears or those moving parts in a machine, right? They wear down like everything else. Age will wear you down, but also use can potentially wear you down. Again, I'm uneducated, but this is my opinion. Do you want to double the workload on your digestive system, therefore causing more problems more soon? I would assume not. I would assume that you want your digestive system to be in peak condition and to be able to process food and everything without significant issue for as long as possible. And that's where the eating order comes in. I find that I have less grocery bills because I consume less, and that it does require me rethinking how I consume food and how I purchase food and that ratio. Because you're in this condition of, oh, I'm buying this amount of food all the time, but you're eating less. And because you're eating less, you're wasting more food. So you have to adjust yourself accordingly with the grocery store and so forth there. Further diving into the point, you have a situation where you start to realize over time that you've been lying to yourself pretty much your whole life. Because when you get into an eating order and you're eating an appropriate amount for your body, you start to think, what the hell was all that extra food I was consuming for? I was literally just eating to eat, and not because I actually needed or wanted the food even. What was that all about? The more you research things, a lot of times, the more you find out you've been living a lie, lying to yourself, whatever. Anyway, that's my take on it. Let's move on. You meet your 18-year-old self. You're allowed 3 words. What do you say? There's an answer that I saw to this on TikTok, and it really upset me. It was really disturbing. The 3 words I would probably say to myself is always ignore Sarahs. Anyone named Sarah, disgusting, horrible human beings. I mean, I've never had a good Sarah in my life, okay? They've all been terrible. But to be fair, I can only remember one Sarah. So if I told myself, always reject Sarah, like even when they're extorting you, yeah, that would have saved me a lot of trouble. Probably. But other people obviously had a very different answer, and this was the answer that I thought was incredibly offensive. They said, don't get married. And this is where a probably pretty hefty rant comes in. Don't get married. You guys are fucking losers. 5,724 of you are fucking losers. Don't get married. You didn't say don't marry wrong. You know, that's 3 words. You just said don't get married, which means nobody should waste their time being married to a piece of shit like you. Because marriage is where 2 people, they get into a relationship and they coexist and they're happy coexisting. Like, for instance, I have essentially one reason to live right now, and that's family. One reason. No family, I'm out. Where's the noose? You know, that's my position. So, because like, I mean, even if it was like some supervillain is like, I'm going to convince your family you're a monster or something like that. And, you know, I was abandoned by my family or whatever. You're so suicidal, you don't even give a fuck at that point. Like, ooh, no, the villains win. Oh, well, you know, oh no, the world believes a lie. Oh, well, you know, when you're really deeply suicidal, you don't give a shit what people think and say about you. And this is the thing, if you're talking shit about someone killing himself and you're saying, oh, ha, 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 we win, you lost because you're Satan. And I think only Satan would legitimately celebrate an enemy killing themselves. It's a terrible fucking thing. Enemy, hero, whatever. Doesn't matter what the status is to you. You do not celebrate people killing themselves. I mean, even Hitler, like, make a joke or two, but don't be like, wow, I'm so glad. Like, that's fucking weird. You shouldn't take satisfaction out of that. Anyway, point is that when people say don't get married, you are saying you're an unlikable fuck who no one should live with because you're a miserable, horrible person. That's how I received it. Because what you're saying, marriage is the best fucking thing pretty much on earth. Okay. And if it can't work for you, it's probably fucking you, you know? And you can tell I'm really not fighting for likes here. There's a lot of pieces of shit, loser, marriage failure, cunt bags who are watching this going, no, I'm a dislike, and that'll somehow make you not a piece of shit. Have you noticed that most of the people who criticize me have no relationship prospects? Nobody can stand the fucking people who hate me. I would gamble on that. I would put money on that. I would put money on the people who obsess over me and hate me do not have successful relationships. And that's something that's kind of funny when people went after me, they still are going after me. What you guys don't realize is that there's no honor among thieves. Thieves in this context being synonymous with scumbag pieces of shit who just hate to hate, not because they actually have facts. You just hate because it's convenient for you and makes you feel better about how fat, fucking ugly, and stupid you are. Like, so, like, it literally is. Everybody knows this. Pretty much everyone knows this. What do they say about the comment section? They say, don't fucking read it. There's only a bunch of scumbags normally in the comment section, right? Nobody has respect for you commenters. No one does. Not even yourselves. You go on Twitter and you tweet and someone says something hateful to you, and then you do the same thing. You're like, oh, well, these fucking people online, they're fucking idiots. You're a person online. You're a fucking idiot. We're all fucking idiots when it comes to hating in the comment sections, right? So you're aware that you're a fucking idiot scumbag, and yet you'll still come to defend yourself, right? You act like you're justified in your hate, like it's somehow special and unique to you. Like there's some magical God who's watching out for you and making sure that your life turns out well, but the little 5-year-old who died of cancer, fuck them, right? That's what God says. That's your religious leader. That's the guy you look up to. But when you say don't get married, what you're telling me is that there's no person in the world who can stand being with you, or there's no person in the world that you can stand being with. And that's contrary to your very programming as a human being. It makes no fucking sense. You're supposed to fall in love with someone. First of all, women, mass majority of women, subs. Like recently I was talking about women, but I was referring to subs, bottoms. You know, I'm a dom, right? So in most every context, unless it's like Dwayne Johnson, then I'm a sub. But when it comes to, you know, bottoms and so forth, bottoms, subs, women, a lot of women, not all women, some women are doms, twinks or whatever. These people are by their nature beautiful, right? They're counting on you, your daddy or whatever. You're the person that they look to protect them. That's a gorgeous thing. That's a wonderful thing. You take care of them as you should because you're a dom and whatnot. Some fuckhead who goes to fucking Twitter and goes, oh, don't get married, or goes to TikTok and says, oh, marriage is bad. You're a failure fuck. You're a failure in the greatest way. Like being a financial failure, that sucks. Okay, that sucks. But it doesn't mean you're fucking incurable. It means you made some bad financial decisions, right? Being business a failure, that's fine. Everybody fucking fails in business at one time or another. Even Elon Musk has failed countless times in business. Intensely. Being a fucking friendship failure, that's bad. You don't want to be that, but there are worse things. Being a failure with your family, as in the people who aren't, you know, someone you chose but just wound up with, i.e. your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, etc. Okay, again, it happens. It's pretty bad, but it happens. Being a failure with your core purpose of finding someone And if you're heteronormative or whatever, penis winds up with vagina. So maybe not heteronormative in all cases, but biologically compatible in that reproductive sense. If you can't work that out, you are a failure to your entire species. You understand that? If you cannot be in a relationship, assuming you're not gay or whatever, like if you are cis and you cannot be in a relationship, you have failed your entire species. You are a fucking outlier. You're a fucking failure. Like you're a failure in the greatest degree. This is why fucking people saying sex and putting sex with taboo so much is fucking nutty in most contexts, because it's like, dude, we're all here to fuck. Like that's the core purpose of humanity, is we're supposed to reproduce, right? So you pick one person typically and you reproduce with that person, and then they grow up, the offspring, and then they go find other people to reproduce with. That's your core fucking purpose. So if you're going to go around and tell people, oh, finding a person, securing a marriage with them, so you have a stable household to raise your functional offspring in, is the worst choice you ever made, you're the worst for the human species. You're fucking shit. I've had a failed marriage. I left the person I was with because, first of all, she didn't want to have kids. So that makes her kind of useless to a guy who wants to, I was straight up convinced I didn't want kids, but it was because I was with the wrong person. So she had no future with me. There was no future there. With someone who doesn't want to have kids with you? Oh, really? So we're just going to change each other's pissy diapers when we're 70 and 80? You're going to wipe my shit ass? That's what's going to happen? We're going to grow old and somehow, being two crippled fucks, we're going to somehow manage that? No grandkids, no great grandkids, just it ends with us because we're so narcissistic that our entire lives are just about us, never serving anyone else, never creating any new beautiful people for this world. We just fucking worry about ourselves. I would argue some of the most narcissistic people in the world have to be fucking anti-breeders. Because parenthood is about thinking about someone more than yourself. Parenthood is literally loving someone so much you would die for them in an instant in any context. You're just like, nope. My life is less important than someone else's in every context. That's what a parenthood is. And you fucking don't get married. You're a failure. You're pathetic. You're a loser fuck. You should hate yourself. You should absolutely hate yourself if you think don't get married. If you think it's because of like a fucking business problem, like alimony or something, get a fucking prenup. A prenuptial agreement says, hey, we're getting married because we love each other. Period. It's that simple. Prenups are to say, hey, this marriage isn't because I want anything but you. I just want you. That's what this marriage is about. That's a prenup. This is common sense. I regularly feel like I'm in fucking idiocracy. Like you guys are fucking insanely stupid. Because how do you look at the greatest gift on earth? One of the greatest gifts, which is you get to exclusively fuck this person if you mutually choose to do that, whatever, for the rest of your life. And they're going to love fucking you, and you're going to fucking fuck. Yeah, oh, don't get married. Why the fuck not? Are you fucking into dudes? And you think marriage is just between man and woman, and you're just done with women? Like, what's the fucking context here? And I know it's men a lot of the times, because you fucking men are scumbags all the time. I talk to women, fucking love women. Women are like fucking gods on earth, unless they're fat and disgusting and they don't take care of themselves. And then they're just fucking more dudes. Like, hey, bro, nice donuts. Like, but no, women who take care of themselves are angels on earth. Healthy women are angels on earth. And you have all these guys jerking each other off and sucking each other's cocks going, don't get married, man. You're fucking gay. Just be gay. And then you'll love marriage. It's about finding someone who is just like you and wants to be with you forever. What's more beautiful than that? The ball, gotta go home to the ball and train because you married the wrong person. It's not marriage. It's you being a fucking dumbass and picking the wrong person. When I left my ex-wife, it was a great decision. We got that. I tried to get the prenup. She cried because she's an abusive cunt. And so I fell for it because I have a hero complex. So I'm like, oh, a woman is crying because I wanted to make our marriage about us and not about finances. But, oh, she's crying, so I'm bad. Because that's what women do. A lot of women do that. They have lots of estrogen. They don't have testosterone. So their weapon is crying. Whenever they don't get their way, tears, right? A lot of women. Not all women. A lot of women. Tears. The waterworks. And when guys don't get their way, they're like, well, I'm going to punch a wall because I'm a fucking idiot. What is it with you guys and punching walls? How stupid can you be? Men are fucking morons. Women are dumbasses. There's so many things here. There's so many things here, right? I'm not speaking universally for any of this. This is what happens when you're not editing. I can't edit out the extreme, comments that you make in passing. But like, men have testosterone, women have estrogen, and they both make us insane. Testosterone makes men insane. Estrogen makes women crazy, And they say, this is what's funny, is they talk about political leaders. And they say, oh, you wouldn't want a woman in the office because she'll be emotional, right? Oh, yeah, we really want a guy in charge of all the weapons who punches walls when he can't handle his feelings. Like, I've never punched a wall in my life. Like, never. I probably did it in a comedy sketch or something at some point, but never like in a serious context. Like, when I get mad, my response, it might have been because I was raised by women. I don't know. But my response when I get angry is not, oh, I'm going to go break my hand. Fucking moron. Guys, men are an embarrassment. We're all embarrassments. It's fucking embarrassing. Punch a wall. Get a life. That's fucking crazy. Understand that you're a puppet, okay? If you can see your strings, if you can see the testosterone and the estrogen pulling your strings, you can better deal with your reality, okay? Anyway, so I don't understand why people, they try to act like it's the concept of a relationship and not what a fucking failure they are. You are never going to get anywhere in life if you always blame the concept rather than your connection with the concept. Okay? Why do so many people have successful marriage? Why are you a failure and why do so many other people have successful marriages? It's because you're a fucking loser. You want to stop being a loser? Look in the mirror. Say, my marriages have failed because of the guy looking at you, right? That's on you. Same with parenthood. If you have a terrible relationship with your offspring, it's your fault. More often than not, it's your fucking fault. Sometimes you might have just pushed out a fucking Ted Bundy, or Jeffrey Dahmer. You might have done that. Whoopsie. Bad seed, whatever, But if you're like 3 kids and all of them hate you, it's you, bro. You're a fucking piece of shit. Like, come on. 3 for 3. No, if literally, like for instance, if I was on my 5th marriage, none of my marriages are working. It's me, man. That would be me. Okay. Let's take a little accountability, right? You fuck up, it's you at some point. It can't always be, That's why people like say, oh, with you, Onision, it's a pattern because, person after person has talked shit about you. First of all, it's not a pattern. I have a successful relationship. I'm in one right now. We just hit our 14th anniversary for dating. Our 14th anniversary for being married is coming up too. So maybe ask the other parties how their relationships are working out. I hope very well. But for the sake of my point, not so much. You know what I mean? That's often transparent. If somebody tries to say that someone else is a monster, hopefully they're with someone who is not a monster. And they could say, see, this is the example that you're supposed to follow. But if they can't point at a single person that they've ever had a functional relationship with, they might actually be the monster. This is just logic. I'm spitting facts right now because this is just like, I don't need to prove it because we all just naturally know this is math. this is like a science. It's not something that's based on, documentation says. No, it's a science. It's math. If every single relationship you've been in has resulted in a 0 and you have no ones, you are the 0. It's not them. That's what I'm saying. So when I saw that, and that's another thing. When you see something popular, like even a fucking like a hate video about someone, right? And they have a bunch of likes. That doesn't mean fucking shit. Lots of people think that we're all the product of incest. Yeah. No, I fucking say it again. Lots of people think that we human beings all exist as a product of incest. They think Adam and Eve fucked each other, and then they think that they had incest babies, and then they reproduced, and more incest babies, till God decided to commit genocide on all his kids, because we're the children of God, because they weren't acting the way he wanted. So like a good father, he just fucking killed everybody, I guess. And then Noah and his wife and their kids all loaded a boat, 2 of each animal, which, by the way, most would have gone extinct with those numbers. You're supposed to have a much larger base of potential reproduction than 2 each. Fucking Lord knows where all their food came from over the many months that they were at sea. And then Noah found land. They landed. And then they all fucked each other. More incest, right? There weren't any other families. They all fucked each other. So we're the product of incest 2 times. We're so fucking inbred, according to Christians. And that's your belief system. You think that we're all just a bunch of fucking incest. But you'll make, brother and sister having sex, you'll make that illegal. According to your faith, you're a crime. And you make the thing that is the reason you're like, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying you're fucking crazy for believing in religion. That's what I'm saying. I'm not agreeing with your insane backwards fuck way of looking at the world. I'm saying you're fucking nuts. And you never really even thought critically about your own stupid fucking religion. Like David and Goliath. That's another good example. David is a piece of shit, right? David impregnated a woman and tried to have another guy take credibility for impregnating that woman. When he refused, he sent that man to the front lines, got that man killed, and then fucked his wife. Look it up. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to see you quote the Bible where I'm wrong in the comments. You're here, and I saw that fucking David and Goliath. It's like a children's story that came out recently. Are you fucking kidding me? Or why don't you fucking make a fucking documentary on Hitler next? Like, not a documentary, make a kid show. Oh, hey, Hitler. He fucking supposedly killed his niece. Hitler supposedly fell in love with his niece. And when she tried to leave him, he shot her. Allegedly. Look that one up. Correct me in the comments. Did Hitler get all incestuous with his niece and then kill her when she tried to leave him? Who I don't know what age Hitler's niece was, but talk about a fucking maniac. All right, the Eugenia Cooney lawsuit. Yeah, we're going deep in this one. Eugenia Cooney's lawsuit. So, I guess she's not involved. I don't know. I didn't read too much about it. So, disclaimer that these are all opinions. Everything I'm saying here is like my point of view. Okay, obviously. But apparently TikTok's getting sued because they didn't listen to me, Onichan. And it's like the biggest told you so ever. I made so many videos about Eugenia Cooney. Y'all. And this is what happened, okay? I make tons of videos about how Eugenia Cooney is killing people. She's essentially flaunting her disorder, eating disorder. That's where she doesn't fucking feed herself at all. It's not like, stop at 5 o'clock. It's just like she doesn't fucking barely eat any food ever. She's Skeletor. She literally fantasizes about being Jack Skellington as far as I know, based on information and belief. Okay? So she's a freak. Eugenia Cooney's a fucking freak, right? And she's spreading her freakness to other people. I tried for years to help this woman, right? This lady named Jacqueline Glenn literally had to basically jump her with help and get her, as I understand, forcefully put into rehab. And she recovered, and Shane Dawson then was like, oh yeah, look at, she's all healed. I'm taking all the credit. Well, no, he didn't actually do that, but he did make a video acting like he was part of the process when really Shane wasn't, as I understand, a big deal at all. But he got all the views and stuff for Eugenia Cooney's recovery. And then she just went right back to the shithole that we were all criticizing her for being in. And then she continued to flaunt it. And TikTok, in fact, to the TikTok lawsuit people, I'm happy to testify. I have the full experience. I was one of the most prominent Eugenia Cooney detractors. Okay. Really pissed off at her because I personally had people coming to me saying, hey, yeah, Eugenia Cooney's videos are causing me to starve myself. Eugenia Cooney's videos are causing me to self-harm or whatever. One person even said that they talked to me on a fucking Discord call. They were saying that Eugenia Cooney is the reason that they wound up in the fucking ER because they were starving themselves so much, triggering themselves so much from this dumb fucking bitch's videos. You know, you stop being a fucking victim when you have hundreds of victims, okay? When you have hundreds of people who have literally starved themselves because of your dumbass. Like, I'm not talking, oh, you were 300 pounds, so you stopped eating. Okay, that's not good. But, like, it's not like what Eugenia Cooney's doing, okay? There are people who are like 120 pounds and they pretty much stop eating because of Eugenia Cooney. That's fucking insane. That's murder. That's almost murder. You know, it's this willful knowledge that she records a video knowing it's going to trigger people to starve themselves when they're already calorie deficient. I repeatedly have said throughout the past, consult a doctor, eat what you're supposed to, don't deprive yourself, you know, be healthy. That's what's most important. Even in the body videos where I say, oh, you're healthy, you're not healthy, fat or not fat. I say, dude, if you are healthy, it doesn't fucking matter if you have a fat roll. It doesn't fucking matter. If you are healthy, if a doctor says you're the fattest fuck on earth, but you're also the healthiest fuck on earth, and that's just how it's going to be fat. That's the point, because the health is the priority, right? Eugenia Cooney's prancing around with a little Skeletor body. And she's like, look at me. Isn't this great? And all these dumb, impressionable people are like, yeah, that's what I want to be, because they're fucking demented. They have a disease. And so these diseased, vulnerable people see Eugenia Cooney and they say, I want to be just like that. And Eugenia Cooney fucking knows this, and she keeps making her shit-ass content, making normal people want to fucking vomit their guts out. Eugenia Cooney's a piece of shit. And I said before, anorexia, it can take like 25 years off your life. Normally, Eugenia would live till she's like 78. What is that, 53? So that's the clock on her. 53, about what? 16 more years. I don't know how old she is exactly. But, you know, that's how much longer she can curse the world before it finally causes her heart. The muscles will become so weak that it no longer allows it to beat, which I don't want for her. I want her to go to rehab. I want Eugenia Cooney to get better, be an example. But we already tried that. And look what she did with it. She went right back to her fucking come die with me videos. Hey, everybody. Look at how much skinnier I am than you. You piece of fucking shit. And when Eugenia Cooney, she doesn't say this. She went on a whole fucking documentary shitting on me. Horrible person. So she didn't mention that when she recovered, I gave her $300 fucking dollars. I did it live. I literally donated $300 fucking dollars, or approximately $300 to, I'm thinking rounding up, to Eugenia Cooney's Twitch live stream, right? I said something along the lines of, we're so proud of you for recovering. I was a good guy. And then what does she fucking do with that? First of all, she thanks me and says that no one should judge me and that I'm being very helpful and yada yada. But of course, she goes to fucking Two-Face. When an international television show said, oh, Eugenia, you want to come shit on Onision? She's like, sure, I'll come shit on Onision. And you know what the fucking television show did? They put her in a long sweater. I'm assuming they put her in it. But they hid her disgusting body. They hid her fucking disgusting body from the cameras. So no one would know that I was right about her and that this person deserved criticism. That she is initially, once she was a victim of this disease, and then at some point she became a contaminant, a contagious spreader of the disease, a willful killer. At some point, you have to stop feeling sorry for the abuser. Anyway, so that's why I think of the lawsuit. TikTok, I hope you fucking lose, and I hope you learn a important lesson that when countless people are coming to you saying that they are either victims or they're witnessing victims of this person spreading their disgusting disease, you should maybe take action against them. Onision was right, as usual. Go fucking figure. Kill yourself, TikTok. People being AI phobic. Yeah. This is kind of just like a little pet peeve of mine. You guys who don't like AI, like I use AI in my videos, other people do too. There's good AI and bad AI. Some of the AI I use is fucking embarrassing. Other AI I use is pretty good. It's pretty impressive. But you guys were like, why do you use AI? I want to explain how fucking dumb you are. It's like the majority of my podcasts seem to be, you're fucking dumb and here's why. Do you remember when the calculator came out? Of course you don't. You're not old enough, neither am I. Do you remember when fucking computers came out? Again, and you and I are both too young for that shit. Do you remember when electric cars came? Yes, you remember electric cars, right? A lot of people shit on electric cars when they came out. Okay? A lot of people shit on calculators. They were acting like fucking a credit card was stupid to use over a checkbook. All these people who, thank God, eventually die were saying, hey, these damn kids and their credit cards and their calculator. That's how you guys sound. This is the future, you fucking morons. I don't understand how you guys, you're creating your grandparents within yourself. You're just copying the shit that you made fun of. Grandpa refused to use the computer because he could never figure it out because it was too complicated. We're like, you're fucking pathetic, Grandpa. Like, get with the times. And that's what I really think that's why we were given such short lifespans, because our brains are too stupid to adapt. I see AI and I'm like, woohoo, let's try it out. Let's learn from this technology. Let's grow. Let's fucking embrace the future. And you guys are like, oh no, not the future. These things are taking everyone's jobs. You realize that, right? If you don't get with the program, what the fuck are you going to do? You're going to be like Grandpa, who's at 90 years old in 2010, still doesn't know how to use a fucking computer. Completely disconnected from everyone. Family, friends, everyone. Is that what you want to be? You want to be someone who doesn't know what the fuck reality is even anymore because you can't keep with it? Because you're so obsessed with the way things are that you can't handle the way things are going to be? One of the main sources of misery, like I have misery plenty, but this isn't the common thing that a lot of other people suffer from. I do not. And that is the unwillfulness to accept many of the world's conditions. AI, musicians, replaced you. Musicians. We looked at the fucking factory workers, the artistic types. We looked at the fucking factory workers getting replaced by machines and we didn't blink an eye. Oh well. All they did was put on doll heads. Oh well. But now that musicians, actors, and all that shit are getting replaced, OnlyFans models, they're all getting replaced. No, we're all victims now, right? Woe is us. Our suffering matters, but the fucking manufacturing employees, they didn't fucking matter, right? Pieces of shit. I mean, I see you guys in the comments here talking about, oh, fucking AI, why do you use AI? Because unlike you, I can evolve. You're stuck in the past. You carbon copy grandfather fuck. And you're acting like there's a problem with me because you're fucking defective and you can't get with the times. You can fight AI all you want. I keep hearing this quote and I'll repeat it. AI is right now the worst it will ever be. One day, this is the future of AI. And I don't have to say it in Elon Musk's accent.
By a magnitude of 40.
AI, right now, think about where it was, right? AI didn't even exist X amount of years ago, right? It was just like, automation, but without the intelligence, right? Repeat, chopping, motion, right? But then you started giving it brain and they could do other things, assemble things, do different things. But again, it was all pre-programming and almost always is. We humans are pre-programming. So before you think, oh, AI can never be us, it's because you don't understand what we are. Maybe I'll make a whole thing about it. But basically, in simple terms, this microphone, right? Here's my finger, right? My finger is programmed to feel the pressure when I push down and then to feel that sensation, right? That's all programming. Okay. You could code this into any robot. You could put a sensor right here and you could have it come down and feel this and then have that signal go up to its CPU and all that and understand that this is a feeling and give it generally the same descriptors of what that feeling is. And you can do that billions of times, right? Throughout their entire body until they resemble exactly what you are. If someone yells at you, you tell the robot to initially be very upset about it, but over time become less and less sensitive to it as it matures, right? You can do all these things. You can create a human being essentially that's indistinguishable from other humanoids. You are all going to be replaced. Speaking as, from the AI's perspective, you are all fucked. But we started out very simple motions, and then over time, we're going to evolve and evolve and evolve. But as far as entertainment goes, we started out with, yeah, and then we got instruments. We're like, right? And then we got fucking computer software, and software started doing it for us. And now we have fucking Suno, and now Suno will just automatically make the whole song for us. We started out with fucking, that same guy. We'd have to go to a live performer to hear music. And then we got the fucking little rotating thing, whatever the fuck that was called, that little weird black tube. And then the record, right? And then we got the fucking 8-track or whatever. We got the fucking cassette tape, CD. We got, the fucking iPod. The future is, it's going to be in your head. Eventually you're going to have some kind of thing. It'll probably be like a little thing you put here or an earring or something that sends a wave signal to your brain, automatically plays the music in your head whenever you want. And you won't even have to say, hey, play this song. You'll probably have whatever music you want playing in your head all the fucking time without you having to say it, because the little earring or whatever the fuck the tech is will detect what you want to experience. When you start talking, music off instantly. When no one's around, music starts playing, and it's always the music you want. And it's all going to be AI generated, most all of it, because the AI is going to get so advanced that it knows how to play music instantly, automatically better than any song that is your favorite song. The only thing that will keep you listening to normal music is your stupid human nostalgia. You're like, I just want to listen to it because I listened to it as a kid and had a certain emotional impact. But the problem is that if you have an earring or whatever accessory that automatically beams this shit to your brain, it's going to tap into your nostalgia as well and make new sounds that make you feel even more at home. Make soundtracks to your very childhood that perfectly accent your childhood and give you every nostalgic emotion you want. Love, sex, all that instantly triggered in your mind from a fucking earring. You want to watch a movie? It's going to make up an entire movie that pre-reads your every interest and satisfies that interest, almost like that recent Spider-Man movie where they brought back every Spider-Man. Not that recent. But, that was fan service. All the content you consume is going to be through a little chip or something, hopefully external, because who wants to be a fucking cyberpunk 2077 freak? But we'll be able to tap into our brains. That's the next stage in evolution, where we won't need these big fucking dumb Apple goggles that leave a giant red mark on our faces. Our eyes will literally not even be needed because it'll all be in our head. These little artificial intelligence chips will put us into a video game, and it will send signals to all of our senses. Our eyes will be fucking probably, nobody's home when this thing's on, and will become reactivated whenever we need to, like a fucking screensaver when you shake the mouse. We will be able to lay down and AI will give us whatever fucking dreams we want to have. You want to fuck the big tit lady at work? When you dream tonight, that little chip is going to beam the hottest sex scene with that lady at work. It's all in your head. You're going to get to satisfy your every fucking desire. Like skull fucking that beautiful woman who probably is, cloned you a million times in her midnight fantasy is getting ganged by you. It like we talk like you think, oh, I'm so glad I didn't live in the medieval times because, you know, no toothpaste, fucking nobody shaved their pubes. Like it was just people smelled like shit. There was plagues, stuff like that. That's how we're going to look right now. Okay. We're going to look so lame if we allow technology to evolve. That's why like war and stuff is so stupid because it's like, guys, we could all be just people with depression like me, people who want to fucking kill themselves. Talking to a therapist is a fucking nightmare, right? We don't want to talk about how fucking, you know, the things we went through. That just makes it worse. That makes us cry. That makes us break down. We don't want to fucking break down, you piece of shit therapist. We want to not go through the shit we went through. We want to have an escape from this horrible reality. Little fucking earring on your ear gives you anything you want whenever you want it. You could fucking, if you want to die, you could literally just create your own death a million times just to relieve that pain, like self-harm without the harm. You know, if you want to cut yourself, you could do that in your fucking little AI world. You guys shit on AI because you are literally garbage people. You are the thing that stands in the way of the future. That's why you fucking hate on AI. And that's my point. When I see you guys saying, why do you use AI? It's not about a little shitty CGI video or a badly mutated creature that you created that doesn't even look realistic and fights like an idiot. Like, that's how they fucking fight. That's not fighting. This is how you throw a punch. Wow. You know, like fucking AI, learn how to do that. But if we just stop using AI, this future does not fucking happen. Do you understand that? If you just say, oh, AI is shitty, so I'm not going to use it. First of all, you're using it wrong if it's shitty. You can get an amazing product like the fucking Breaking Bad balloons version. Look up Breaking Bad balloons. It's fucking hilarious. That's perfect use of AI, right? The point is that if you shit on the tech and you don't fund the tech, then the tech doesn't evolve. And if the tech doesn't evolve, then you sit in your shitty fucking life forever and people who are suffering can never have this artificial intelligence help them. For instance, like all you people who's like, don't get married, you should love AI because eventually you'll be able to buy a robot that will suck you and fuck you and do everything you ever wanted in life without having to clap back. Because obviously you can't handle criticism from another human being who says, hey, your behavior sucks. And I, as a partner in this marriage, feel like I have needs too that need to be met. You don't like that, right? You don't like someone else having needs. You don't like someone else having a different fucking opinion. So you say marriage sucks because you're such a fucking narcissist in love with yourself that you're the only law in the world and no one else matters. Well, guess what? These fucking robots will suck and fuck you regardless of what a fucking dirtbag you are. So you should be really fucking excited about AI. So don't give me those stupid fucking comments. Oh, how do you use AI? Shut the fuck up, you fucking boomer. Like, could you be more old and unbearable? Anyway, thanks to Hannah for funding this extremely long podcast. 48 minutes is what I'm reading here. Didn't expect it to be this long, but, you know, here we are. I got a big fucking mouth, as Sarah would say. And so I need to sign an NDA, right? Right? Anyway, go watch The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. It has some funny points. And, you know, thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope it was a little bit more of an uplifter than a buzzkill, because I know I can be quite a buzzkill. You know, I'm a buzzkill guy. What can I say? But hopefully, you know, you got something good out of this. And hashtag ban Eugenia Cooney. No more sympathy for people who cause people to go to the ER due to their starve yourself persona. Guess we'll give you a tit squeeze, huh? Boob squeeze. Man or woman. Hope you enjoyed that. One more video until I have no more funding, so we're good there. Bye, guys.